Hey guys, Seb here. The kit I'm working on today is Good Smile Company's Moderoid Baronzu. So I have some opinions about brain powered, but I am totally in love with the mecha designs. Something about their lanky alienness is just so eye-catching, and I think Good Smile Company really did the designs justice. I want to thank Good Smile for also making this Baronzu in plastic model kit form. Before this guy's release earlier in August, I think, there was only a garage kit which I think were sold only at a few events in Japan. While the sculpt was fantastic, location-wise and financially it was totally inaccessible to me. So yeah, Good Smile Company, super awesome, and I look forward to more of their Moderoid releases. Speaking of the Moderoid line, I found that a lot of the kits share a certain trait. A lot of the parts fit really tight. To remedy this, I expand the peg holes carefully with a slightly wider sized drill bit. Sometimes, if I don't have a size bigger than the hole, I angle it a little to gouge out enough plastic. And it's not just the pegs and the holes that need attention. The ball joints are also extremely hard to put in. I considered loosening up the sockets as well, but seeing as the ball joints were being used for the limbs, I decided not to. And here it is, the Baronzu snapped up. It is just beautiful. This is just so good, and it gets even better. With the armor fins attached, it becomes even bigger. Just take a look at this silhouette. Ugh, it is just so freaking cool. After staring at it and planning for a few hours, I get to work. For this build, I decide to rescribe every visible detail on the entire kit. Usually, I don't feel the need to go this far, but I really wanted to replicate the detailed and the defined look that the mechs have in the anime. This process of rescribing over existing details, molds, and panel lines is something that I covered in my previous video if you're interested in detail of how it works. To put it briefly, I lightly go over the detail with the needle tool to create a solid path for the scriber to do its work. Aside from giving the details more of a defined look, it also hides the kit's seam lines really well. Good Smile Company made a really smart move making the seam lines blend in with the details. After some work, the seam lines become pretty much indistinguishable from the rescribed lines. This entire process took at least 80 hours, I'm guessing maybe even 100-ish at least, actually. I know this because I started rewatching One Piece from episode 1 at this time. I stopped a little bit after around episode 200. One part that stood out to me during this process were the hand parts. The fingers had beautifully sculpted lines in them, all of them except for the index finger, so that was fun. I also rescribed over the patterns on the end of its wings to panel line it orange. And those were all shallow, so again, super fun. After the rescribing process, I sand away all of the visible nubs and sink marks that I can find. Then I do a quick wash before painting. I want to paint this Baronzu in the image that I remember most when it first appeared in the anime. The Baronzu is supposed to be white, but because the scene was during a dark, snowy night, it felt like it had a much more menacing color. Kind of like a slightly purplish blue-gray. This illustration of the Hyper Baronzu really solidified the color that I wanted to use. For the main color, I'm going to start off with the base coat of a dark blue-gray that I mixed. At the time, I was conflicted on the type of finish that I wanted, so I played it safe by making sure to spray everything as cleanly as possible. I made sure to spray at least 2 layers to fill in scratches and imperfections adequately. If I wanted to do matte, I could have been a lot more forgiving. I believe there was a scene in the anime where the main character was saying something along the lines of,
"Hey yo, that shit's too shiny. Too shiny, man."
The brain-powered kits all come matte out of the box, so I think canonically they're not supposed to be super shiny. While thinking about the finish, I then decide to give the base coated parts some white highlights in the middle. That way there's some whiteness to it while retaining the dark, menacing blue color. I didn't want it to turn out too white, so I added some of the base coat's color to the highlight. Doing so makes it a softer gradient instead of shifting from a pure white to a dark blue-gray. So let's get back to the finish. I gave in. I ended up using the semi-gloss clear that I always use. I just could not make it matte. I cannot resist the shine. I just can't. It looks quite good though. Now, regarding the frame color, I made it a super light gray purple. Then the highlights applied after were even lighter. It was pretty much white mixed with some of the purple that I just used. I purposely made it so light just so that the scribed lines can pop when panel lining it black. After letting the parts dry for a few days, I panel line and get ready to build the kit. And the Baronzu is now complete. Yeah, all those hours spent rescribing definitely paid off. With the strong blue tint, this might not be the Baronzu that most people know, but this is the one that I've had in my mind. The menacing Baronzu that showed up in that snowy night. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.